Hi folks, this is Science here. Happy Monday. So today you're going to be publishing your interactive game, but you might be saying to yourself, my interactive game doesn't really work the way I want it to. I just want to walk you quickly through the interactive game cheat sheet so perhaps we could problem solve where something's wrong. So first off, guys, if you start on slide 3 here, this is the code that's on the character that falls from the sky. It goes from one location and it glides to another one, and it does this forever. The reason it falls from the sky is because you're starting up top, so this is a positive 300, and you're gliding to a negative 300. That would make it fall down. To make it appear random, that's why we use this random number. So you're picking a range of numbers, right? Anywhere between negative 200 and positive 200. So that's going to pick a spot in the X, and then it's going to glide down to another random spot. So this is all in one sprite. Slide 4 went on a second sprite. So this would allow the user, the person that's playing the game, to press the arrow keys and move the character. So you can see the dark blue blocks are the motion blocks. If you're going down or up, you're changing the Y. If you're going left or right, that's when you're changing X. So when you're going up or right, you're changing in a positive. If you're going down or left, that's when you're changing by a negative. All right. So hopefully this code will help you so then you have a second character that moves with the arrow keys. The if else, this structure right here that's in a forever loop says if the character is touching the other sprite, so the name of your sprite, you can change an effect. This purple block will change how a character looks. If they're not touching, we don't want anything to happen. So we clear any graphic effects that were on the place. If you need help with this, there are video directions on this slide. This is not required, but this slide basically added a third sprite. So in my example, I had the bananas and it was constantly following the first sprite around. But if I pressed the space button, it would get thrown across the screen. So if you'd like to see how to do that, there's code and videos for that there. All right. We started talking on, I think, Wednesday, maybe Thursday, about adding variables. Basically, this is a number that changes in your code. So something like a scoring system where the numbers would hopefully increase, or perhaps you have a timer. So again, you have to set those variables to certain numbers when the green flag is clicked, and then perhaps they always just change over time. So this is always just subtracting, starting at 16 and going down by 1. Whereas this is keeping score. So if this is touching another sprite, that's when it changes. So again, we used those looping structures in order for it to happen when we want. All right, at the end of your game, this is a cool instance. You only had to have one of these codes. I would suggest having the code on the right. They do the same thing, but when your time is up, when 0 is a bigger number, aka your time is in the negatives, you want to say your score. So this would say you scored like 5 points, and then it would just stop everything. Whereas this would say the score, but it would literally say 5 and then stop your code. So again, I would suggest doing this stuff on the right-hand side. All right, so finally we have to end our game. When does it end? Good question. That's when you're going to decide. So this is a lot of code in here, but basically we said like when the time is less than 0, we want to broadcast. Now, broadcasting is a way to tell code to happen at a different time other than when the green flag is clicked. So you can see this code's not going to be called into play until after the timer is up. So then when does this code start? Instead of with the green flag, it's like when I receive endgame. So you could put this on different sprites. You could put this on different stages to have things show up or appear at certain times. So that's kind of cool. So basically, folks, these were the goals for the game is that you have a sprite that moves on its own, right? You have a sprite that falls randomly. That's slide 3. You have a sprite that moves with the arrow keys. Okay, that's slide 4. So actually these are reversed. I'll fix that. You have a timer and a scoring system. And then you have it so that after the timer is up that the game ends. Okay. So hopefully, you may have even had a chance to do extras. So if you wanted to add additional sprites to it, that would be cool. So you can add different levels. So say that this was like if you had a sprite show up after a certain amount of time. So again, folks, check out my game. Where is my game? I added it to your class studio. So in Scratch, you can go under My Stuff, and these are all codes that you've created. Okay, you're more than welcome to go back and edit your own code. If you're really stuck, I don't want you to become frustrated. I want you to learn how to code. So go under your classes, and in your class, so like I'll go to like the W team here, you should have a class studio. Okay. So you're going to have a class studio, and in that studio, there is going to be projects. So right now, I'll go to My Stuff, and I'll click on my advanced project, and I'll add it to our class studio. Okay. So if you get stuck, you can edit my game, look at my game, and see how it is. All right. You can always go on. You could always add more onto this. We're going to use Scratch a lot more, but I just wanted to kind of get your feet wet with it. So then hopefully you're able to see how code runs. I would also suggest like cleaning up your blocks. I did not do so on this one, so I'm not going to do it right now. But definitely that's a good trick as well. Just really quickly, if your game is stuck, here is the one instance. I just want to refresh right here. This is where kids often, let me just zoom in, sorry. This is where kids often get their game to not work. You want it to end when it's in the negatives. So you have to have the greater than or less than symbol facing the opening, facing the 0. That means that 0 is a bigger number than what's ever on the other side. So no matter which way you have it, you just have to have it so 0 is the bigger number. Okay, and that should end your game. Folks, if you want help with your game, please come during your independent work time today. We're going to be we're going to be like publishing your game. So hopefully what's going to happen is on your project page, you're going to end up sharing it by copying this embedded link onto your portfolio and just giving people a brief description of what it is. So if you do need help with your game, I would say please look at, that's not it, at the cheat sheet. There are basically, we did a couple of slides each day. They have video directions. So if you're stuck and you need like a specific day, look at the code and then it will walk you through everything. But I'm here to help. So definitely hit me up during today's independent work times. If you need help with anything Scratch related, publishing it to your portfolio, let me know. Have a great Monday, guys. Thanks so much.